pudding still sticking to it. And you stalk out with your nose in the air and can't ever go to that shop again. No, we won't spend our joey. Twopence halfpenny left, twopence halfpenny to last till Friday. This was the lonely after-dinner hour when few or no customers were to be expected. He was alone with 7,000 books. The small dark room, smelling of dust and decayed paper that gave on to the office, was filled to the brim with books, mostly aged and unsaleable. On the top shelves near the ceiling, the quarto volumes of extinct encyclopedias slumbered on their sides in piles like the tiered coffins in common graves. Gordon pushed aside the blue, dust-sodden curtains that served as a doorway to the next room. This, better lighted than the other, contained the lending library. It was one of those twopenny no-deposit libraries beloved of book pinchers. No books in it except novels, of course. And what novels? But that, too, was a matter of course. 800 strong, the novels lined the room on 3 sides, ceiling high, row upon row of gaudy oblong backs, as though the walls had been built of many-coloured bricks laid upright. They were arranged alphabetically: Arlen, Burroughs, Deeping, Dell, Franco, Galsworthy, Gibbs, Priestley, Sapper, Walpole. Gordon eyed them with inert hatred. At this moment he hated all books, and novels most of all. Horrible to think of all that soggy, half-baked trash massed together in one place. Pudding, suet pudding, 800 slabs of pudding, walling him in, a vault of pudding stone. The thought was oppressive. He moved on through the open doorway into the front part of the shop. In doing so, he smoothed his hair. It was an habitual movement. After all, there might be girls outside the glass door. Gordon was not impressive to look at. He was just 5 feet 7 inches high, and because his hair was usually too long, he gave the impression that his head was a little too big for his body. He was never quite unconscious of his small stature. When he knew that anyone was looking at him, he carried himself very upright, throwing a chest with a "you be damned" air which occasionally deceived simple people. However, there was nobody outside. The front room, unlike the rest of the shop, was smart and expensive-looking, and it contained about 2,000 books, exclusive of those in the window. On the right, there was a glass showcase in which children's books were kept. Gordon averted his eyes from a beastly Rackham-esque dust jacket. Elvish children tripping wendily through a bluebell glade. He gazed out through the glass door. A foul day and the wind rising. The sky was leaden, the cobbles of the street were slimy. It was St. Andrew's Day, the 30th of November. McKechnie's stood on a corner, on a sort of shapeless square where 4 streets converged. To the left, just within sight from the door, stood a great elm tree, leafless now, its multitudinous twigs making sepia-coloured lace against the sky. Opposite, next to the Prince of Wales, were tall hoardings covered with ads for patent foods and patent medicines. A gallery of monstrous doll faces, pink, vacuous faces full of goofy optimism. QT sauce, true wheat breakfast crisps. Kiddies clamour for their breakfast crisps. Kangaroo burgundy, Vitamalt chocolate, Bovex. Of them all, the Bovex one oppressed Gordon the most. A spectacled rat-faced clerk with patent leather hair sitting at a cafe table, grinning over a white mug of Bovex. Corner table enjoys his meal with Bovex, the legend ran. Gordon shortened the focus of his eyes. From the dust-dulled pane, the reflection of his own face looked back at him. Not a good face. Not 30 yet, but moth-eaten already. Very pale, with bitter, ineradicable lines. What people call a good forehead, high that is, but a small pointed chin, so that the face as a whole was pear-shaped rather than oval. Hair mouse-coloured and unkempt, mouth unamiable, eyes hazel inclining to green. He lengthened the focus of his eyes again. He hated mirrors nowadays. Outside, all was bleak and wintry. A tram, like a raucous swan of steel, glided groaning over the cobbles, and in its